Welcome to the Outdoors Dan Podcast.
All right. Well, we're live. I guess we're live. Okay.
That's dope.
So, welcome everybody to the first ever
Dan's Corner
Outdoor Dan podcast. Still don't really have a name. That's all right. I made an intro song.
Oh, I gotta hear that.
You gotta hear it. Oh, fuck, I need internet. Fuck. This is a fucking battle of internet.
Well, you can cut it in.
Yeah, cut it in. It's pretty funny. It's like I got this. It'd be so much better if I had that teed up. Also, the speakers suck on this, so that's not fun. But it's like welcome to the Outdoor Dan podcast, and then it goes into like a guitar fucking sound. Like,
oh, I gotta hear that.
So yeah,
did you use like AI for the voice, or was it you?
Yeah, I did. I got from Josh, like the idea of Josh, they created that song.
Oh,
did you create that the whole song from your bachelor with like fucking
that was
AI?
Hilarious.
Yeah. So. This is the first ever podcast. Thanks for coming on. By the way, Trev. It's my best buddy, Trev. And we got some outdoor hunting stories and fun outdoor shit to talk about, which is fun. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Yeah.
I've been in here many times.
Yeah, a lot of times in this garage drinking.
So what's your idea for touch my face. What's your idea for like your pod?
Dude. It's gonna be okay. My initial thought was I wanted to do like obviously outdoors, everything outdoors, and then I wanted to do more like Canadian hunting. Talk to Canadians, majority Canadians, I'd say, like, and what they do, like whether it be biologists about like in Ontario talking about moose. I wanted to talk to like Michael Hunter, that chef. I want to talk to him about wild game, his sort of things. Or survival skills within Canada. Like there's a guy in Magnetawan. He went alone, Jim Baird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to him on like him with like camping with kids, or like in like first hunters, like like this story and like so that's what this like basically what I'm super interested about, anyways. And then just like talk to people. There's so this book I just bought, The Culture of Hunting in Canada. I messaged this lady. Jean L. Manor. Anyways, so if you're listening, Jean, cool. Yeah. So it's a history, and so I read like one page, but anyways, so I want to talk to her about that and like dive deep into dive in like the history of hunting, because I don't really know much about like how I got to this was basically for American history. In hunting in particular, like like the Lewis and Clark expedition, all these famous people, like mountaineers, frontiersmen that like went the distance of like learning from indigenous people, living off the land, hunting, new practices, like long hunters, all these people. I don't know shit about Canada. So I kind of what's the start of this idea to think like, oh, maybe I can speak to some people and educate myself and maybe promote that and get other Canadians that are like outdoors and hunters, but know more about that stuff and like find people who've done crazy expeditions. And that's kind of what started the idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, then along the way I can talk about how to improve your backyard hunting plot, like that sort of stuff. So that's basically, what I thought about that.
Well, we've talked about that before too, how like our hunting culture is still very much American driven. Like Meat Eater and all the Cam Hanes or whatever, and they're great.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that, but there isn't much like core Canadian hunting culture, even though so many people hunt in Canada, and I think even the percentage of people that hunt in Canada compared to population is higher than the States.
Yeah,
but yet we don't have as much influence like in the industry.
No, it's
at least within North America. Like I don't know how other countries look at Canadian hunting, but I don't know any like. I don't really have like a Canadian hunting like celebrity that I know or anything.
Yeah, I like
except for like Jim Shockey.
Yeah, Jim Shockey, exactly, like those guys. And like,
I guess there is, but it's just not as prominent as all the huge. But that's living in Canada is always being kind of like in the shadow of the States. Does things louder and prouder, and we do things not necessarily quieter, but like more humbly. So you don't really know a lot of our like celebrity culture in hunting and stuff.
Yeah, you don't.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
And yeah, so that's that. Like in like industries too, right? Like hunting industries is like, oh, I want to buy a tree stand. Okay, you gotta probably go buy something from the States, and it's gonna cost you a lot of money. And it's like, well, where can I get a Canadian-made bow? Where can I get a stand? Whatever, rifle. It's just like Canadians are always going right down to the States, and they got good equipment. Like they have an industry. They got like Easton Arrows, for example. Good luck trying to start an arrow manufacturing company in Canada. Like that's just gonna, one, the arrows are probably gonna suck. Two, it's gonna be crazy expensive. So like we have to like bridge the gap somehow and like come together. It's almost like make Canada fucking great again in a way of just like, someone's got, I mean, I think there's one tree stand company I just heard of that's starting to make tree stands they're selling them in Canada. I don't really know much about like actually production manufacturers. So that's kind of, I would love for that to like slowly tailor, because there's so, I hear it all the time on some like podcasts and stuff, and people just talking over Instagram. That's what they would love to see. They love to see like an industry start. And yeah, I'm just like,
it's a better time than ever with all the tariff stuff. And Canada versus US stuff that's going on right now. Like Canadian manufacturing is being, doubled down on, and there's grants and stuff that are all coming out to start that, because we're moving away from reliance on the States now, which is good in some ways and bad in some ways, but it could be the start of, it could help snowball the industry in Canada for at least folk like hunting.
I think so.
Or fishing too. It's kind of insane that
the fishing thing,
like same with fishing. Like I'm sure there are Canadian companies and stuff, but it's definitely not as prominent as like American companies and Rapala and all this stuff. And like, we know Sabel, which was like a Quebec company, I'm pretty sure, which got bought out by Berkeley, which is an American company to my knowledge, I think. And yet we have the most freshwater in the entire world in Canada.
More people probably fish in fucking Canada than... I don't know if that's a true stat.
Yeah, but it's like anything. It's like alcohol. It's like, Canadian manufacturing doesn't really exist for most things other than like lumber and steel and oil and stuff. So when you get into like this kind of stuff and product forward type of things, it's definitely American driven.
Oh, 100%. And then what's other, like Americans are also coming to Canada to hunt. Most outfitters, if not all of them that I've ever seen, are based in US dollars. And it's like they are coming up to Canada to hunt. Our like BC's probably, Alberta's big, some people on but it's like the hell. Like we have obviously the market for hunting. It's not like, okay, there's just like not enough hunting. It's just a different style. But we also have out west, we have out east. Like Canada's huge, and like we got north, like Yukon. And there was my boss's kid lives in Yukon, and he's like, he can hunt bison, he can hunt sheep, like everything out there. And it's like, how come we don't have that industry? So that's something that I would love to like. I don't even know who to fucking talk to about that, but
I think unfortunately, maybe unfortunately it's not the right word, but it comes down to cost. Like it comes down to business. Like, can you make a product in Canada that's still affordable and not 10 times as much as a top quality product from the States? Like if Sitka is your top of the line hunting clothes and shirt's going to cost you $350 from Cabela's, but then you're going to do that in Canada to match or beat their quality, but it's $1,000, you're still not going to compete.
Yeah, you won't.
Right. So can you create manufacturing in Canada for these type of things that is affordable, or at least within a price point, even if you're on the higher price point? And I think that's always been the problem. Companies start, it costs too much. They try to build it in Canada and you price yourself out of the market. Yeah. And people want it, but they're still going to go for that Bass Pro version of that. That's the majority of people. Or like I said, even if they're willing to be in that higher price point, are they willing to be in a much higher price point to get it in Canada? I would say no. Yeah, so how can you do that manufacturing and actually make it a comparably priced product?
It's a great question.
Yeah, so figure that out, and then you'll be a millionaire.
I hope somebody out there is listening and can be like, "Yo, I got this. You guys got the idea, the vision. Got a good community. Go."
So if you could manufacture one thing in Canada, what would it be? Like in the hunting world?
Oh, I think about that.
Would it be apparel? Would it be camo? Would it be arrows? Would it be bows? Would it be Like,
well, there is one bow company that already doing stuff, so I wouldn't want to take from them because it's already existing, I guess. But then that's APA Archery. Probably I could really do it. I would say clothing because it's just, like, especially in Ontario, it's just such a different climate. Like, it's like, people I don't know, in the States would be like, oh, this is how you hunt we're in the cold weather of 5 degrees, and I'm like, right. Dude, I'm sitting in minus 20 fucking 20 degrees.
We've always said that.
Yeah. So like, there's got it, like, and so that's someone who I'm bringing on the podcast as well. So the company clothing that sponsors me is Pnuma Outdoors. So she's coming on. I'm going to basically be like, yo, here's my hunting scenario. Gear me, like, clothe me, basically. What would you recommend? Why would you recommend it? Because I have a hard time. Like, I mean, throughout the years, I've kind of figured out what works for me based on what I have. Still not ideal. I'm still like puffed up, like a Michelin man. I would love to be like slimmed down, still warm. What's the way to go? Like, they have this technology where it's like the Milwaukee jackets where you can like have a battery pack, but it's like, oh, is that necessary? Like, what if we're, when we do our hunt and we're walking out, it's like, am I going to fucking walk around with all this shit? Yeah. And so then it comes I guess
you're plugging your clothes in and you're worried about charging batteries, this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole what you wear thing has probably been the biggest challenge for me in hunting because I'm still using, the classic Bass Pro, like your Canadian Tire. You go to Canadian Tire, you buy your first hunting jacket, like it's $100 or it's $90, but it's huge and puffy. And you sweat and you walk out and now I'm wet. And I'm sweating and it's minus 10 out. And then within 10 minutes, I'm freezing. And then my socks are wet. And then you wear these big clunker boots. And then you're... Fuck. Yeah, exactly. So I think overall, even more than the actual hunt, the biggest challenge for me has been like what you wear. And it's all price point too. It's price point. Sure, you can go buy, like I said, all the Sitka gear you want and spend $5,000. And I'm sure I'd feel great. Yeah. But that's at my price point. Yeah. And if I'm trying to be in that moderate, like mid-range price point, I have found it very hard in our temperatures, how cold it gets, to be able to get to your stand, go do your hike, go for grouse and not be sweating and then freezing or whatever. Yeah,
it's such a challenge, and that's something that, like, it always changes. Then it's like I can take off, I don't have to wear all my layers. Then you got this huge backpack, then you're sitting down, then you got to layer up in the middle of the bush, you're probably spooking something. It's like a constant thing that's like, it'd be great to just have, like, this works for well in Ontario and it's proven in a way, and then be like, okay, I like that, but that just doesn't, like, this company I think is based out of Texas. Not shitting on them or anything. Like, I love the product they've sent me so far for spring and everything. So that's why I want to talk to them about the fall time and winter. It's like, because it's not just like you're hunting in, I don't know, Michigan or something. Like, you're hunting in like pretty fucking cold weather where it's like deep snow, cold, and you're just sitting there, also bow hunting too most of the time, like in those like late seasons, and you gotta somehow like shoot this deer that's the most, like here especially, the most like skittish deer ever. You see like 150 yards and they'll fucking peek up, and just because you moved your arm like an inch. So that's I probably for the better, probably camo. I'd say like that would be an industry that would be like super cool to, like, this works, boom, this area.
Yeah, and I think it'd be something like wool, like Canadian wool material or something, where it's like thick, but not like puffy jacket thick. But like, and honestly, I'm looking at this book and like, these guys probably knew better than we did with all this, I'll take some water too. With all this like technology and all this stuff that, layering and stuff, for hundreds of years, these guys just wore whatever they had. And like in the early, 60s, 50s, that era of hunting, you're wearing wool jackets and, plaid wool and wool pants and vests, and and ball caps. Like, they didn't overthink it. And I bet you they were probably warmer than we were.
I think we're just a little bit too soft too.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just,
and that.
Maybe we're just a little too soft. We need to toughen up. Yeah. I just listened to a podcast with Cam Haynes, and the hell's his name? He's a guy, Barklow. I think his name is Barklow. And he's like, he works with Sitka, and he's saying to Cam, now, but it's such a different style of hunting, but he's like, Cam, all you need is 8 pieces of clothing, and you're set for whatever. And he says for whatever, like any style of hunting. And I'm just like, and he's just like basically a good base layer, you know, the typical in the shell. And then you have like an outer shell of like rain jacket shell. But you got like, he's like 8 pieces, will keep you warm, not overdress you, because some people overdress, boom, 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 boom. So I don't know. That's why I like to talk to the lady from Pnuma Outdoors to pick her brain on being like, this is my setup. Like, how do I not look like the Michelin Man, break the bank?
Yeah.
But, you know, dress up in a way that can be comfortable. I can draw back with a bow, you know, that's not going to be like super puffy out of the way, hit my string off the sleeve, you know. So that'd be cool. So that'd be a dream if like you start to see like that transition. It's possible because I keep hearing Canadians talk about it.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about someone doing it.
Someone
putting the money into it up front, really. Yeah. It all comes down to money. Yeah, you need someone to do the investment and start the business, and you hope that it can be supported and take off. Yeah. Because the worst thing is if you see these companies starting and then failing, it's discouraging, and then people will just stick to what they know, and that's American companies for us.
Easy. Buy it, and like I think we have for Ontario, we have a fine line of like people who are super serious, and then guys that just like sit in the backyard and they fucking shoot whatever, which is fun too. But like it's just like I feel like the market of like the American hunters, at least the way it comes off, are just so intense, which is great because it drives that industry and everything. And it's like it's either like I kind of hunt, we'll go out, or it's like you have guys like us where it's like I want to do. I want to spend 12 hours in the bush. I want to do dark to dark, and there's lots of guys I speak to who are just like real go getters. And then there's like not really a gray area where.
Yeah, dark to dark is hard too. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, especially if you want to sit in a tree stand.
And like going out knowing, you know, I'm going to go out for 3 hours this morning is a different mindset that I've learned of like, I don't have to be as worried about the gear I have. I can, you know, tough out being cold for 2 hours. But a dark to dark is a different ball game, and you know you're going to be out there for 12 hours. So if you're cold at hour 2, that's worrying. By the time you know hour 8 and 9 are coming down the road, and like that was like my hunt last year here at your property was a dark to dark, and you know you go through so many. You're out there in the dark and it's freezing. Then you get the sunrise right in your face, and suddenly you're like, "Oh man, I got to take my jacket off." Now you're in your tree stand making sounds. Yeah. And at that time I was gun hunting, and it's like you got to hang your gun. Oh, I just clanged my gun off of the hook or something, and you're making all that. You're moving. You're this and that. And then as you're doing it, you're like mid taking your jacket off, and you look at across the field and you see a buck, and you're like, oh my God.
And he sees you like,
instantly, because you're moving around like an idiot. Yeah. And then, you know, midday you're sweating. And then again, evening comes, you're trying to stay quiet. You're in prime time, and all you're worried about is temperature or whatever. So I've definitely found that can be challenging. So yeah, you should start a company.
Yeah. I should start
a clothing company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get right into that. I'll just start. I mean, we're always looking for something. I have an interesting idea. I want to shoot by you after. It's got to be off the record. I don't want anyone stealing our fucking jam here.
Looking forward to that.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm glad you brought up your hunt from last year, because that's I want to dabble into that. But there. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, I want to know how you got into the outdoors. Like, what was your first step in being like, yo, like I'm doing something outdoors, like I don't know, like fishing, for example. Like, oh, I remember I got into the outdoors through fishing, hunting with my dad, with whatever, my cousin, blah blah blah. So it was was that first.
Definitely fishing. Hunting was not even on my radar growing up. I knew, actually, that's probably a lie. Probably the earliest like memory I have. I hope this mic isn't. I keep touching it, so I hope that's not fucking up your
we'll find out.
Yeah. I should have wore a ball cap and put it on there. I've seen that.
Hey, do you want a hat? Do you want a Spypoint hat?
Yeah. Is this a plug? Is this where we pause for your advertisement?
And by the way,
brought to you by
Spypoint.
Spypoint.
Yeah. You can.
I'll try that out. We'll take a brief pause.
Yeah, brief pause. In the meantime, I might I got a beer. I want a beer?
Yeah.
Just some sort of other beverage. I also have some ice.
The water tastes good.
I know. I wish I got a bigger pitcher here because it is good. It's nice Canadian well water. It's the best in the world.
You should get sponsored by a well.
Well,
you should get sponsored by Moosehead.
I do. I was going to open with that, being like, this podcast. Oh, it's the best sound in the world. This podcast is brought to you by Moosehead.
So I love Moosehead. Please pay us money. Cheers. Congrats on your first pod.
Hey, thanks, man.
Honored to be your first guest.
Oh, that's good.
Got to put that strategic plug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brand out.
Brand out, baby.
Unless they ban this, and then we'll have to put duct tape around.
Well, it's a big ass moose. They can't.
Yeah, this is like as topical as beer. So yeah. Anyways, actually, I was gonna say fishing, and then as I was saying that, I was thinking the earliest like memory I have of either hunting or fishing would be my dad getting mailed jarred moose meat from my family in Newfoundland. Yeah. Because, obviously my dad's from Newfoundland and huge hunting culture out there. But then it wasn't part of our culture growing up. But my dad would get, usually once a year, would get one mason jar of canned moose meat mailed from out east. And I remember my mom wouldn't let him cook it inside because of the smell and all this. So I do remember being a really little kid and my dad going to the barbecue and lighting up the little side burner and doing it outside. Wow. And just throwing it in the pan and just warming it up because it's canned, so you can just eat it. Yeah. So that was probably the earliest, but at that time I had no judgment as to where is this coming from? Okay, my Uncle Stu is hunting this meat, but what does that mean? And what is hunting? And I had no clue and I wasn't interested at the time. And my dad didn't really expand on that at the time other than, hey, you want to try some of this? And I remember trying it and I remember liking it too. And that was super cool. Yeah. But it was kind of just, it lived and died in that old memory, and that didn't influence later. So I would say the first influential fishing or hunting experience would definitely be my family's ice fishing trip, which you became part of, and it was an annual trip up to Lake Temagami in Northern Ontario. And for us, that was a huge deal because growing up in Mississauga in the city, that 5-6 hour drive was always such a huge deal to come up north and stop in North Bay was such a huge thing. And now I live up here, so it's kind of my backyard. Yeah. But so it was an annual ice fishing trip, and just being a kid and going out there. We had no rods. We didn't know about any sonar. We didn't even know about jigging. We literally went out and put up tippers or tip ups, or people call them all sorts of things. I call them tippers. and we set up the tippers, and we had our lodge guy, John, who would set us up with minnows. And John is a legend. John and Jenny from Loon Lodge, doesn't exist anymore, but that's what it was. And that was my first introduction into fishing. And I started that when I was 10 years old. I got to go with the trip because they were doing it for years before I started. But always just the classic tipper, minnow, spreader at the bottom, and you go for lake trout. And that was it. That's exactly
so. Well, and I want to say is that your family, that trip is the reason why I ice fish today. It's that was my introduction to ice fishing,
which is crazy because you were involved in the outdoors from the time you were born.
Yeah, I remember seeing my mom used to work at this place. They sold some outdoor stuff, and seeing this tiny rod. I mean, what the hell is that? What's that for? And then someone saying ice fish, I never really understood it. And then when we met in grade 9 back in 2009, or 8, 2008. Oh yeah, right. 2008, 2009. Crazy. And you're I'm gonna go 6 hours. Holy fuck, you're driving 6 hours because my car just 3 hours. I was dude, you're fucking up there. You're ice fishing, and you just made it sound like the greatest time because you're yo, we're gonna get there. It's so fun. We're shooting the shit. We're shooting minnows. We're whatever. Then you catch a whole whack load of fish, and then you nighttime fishing for lingcod. And you're oh my god. So when I got invited the first time, that was the coolest. And same thing, we didn't have. That was before we really got into it.
I wasn't even using rods at that time. No,
and I was still straight tippers.
And so I probably had at least 5 years of going on that annual trip without even knowing about ice fishing rods and stuff. Yeah, and this is YouTube existed and stuff, but it was still younger when I first started going. I was 10, and that wasn't a thing to research that. I wasn't in that world of looking things up online. That didn't exist. Didn't have a phone. So it was just whatever that trip was. Influenced by the older generation is what fishing was to me. And that was just a tipper.
Yeah,
and you wait and you sit. And I would put 12, 13, 14-hour days and just sitting there staring at the tipper. And we would go full days of not even catching a single fish. But it was so addicting and fun and cool, and like going out and driving on the ice road and 3 feet of ice and seeing a hole get augered for the first time. And it's cool in an environment like this talking about it, because then you start remembering all the little details. But to answer your question directly, that was what got me into fishing. And then that was definitely, it snowballed, and it just kept slowly building and building and building. And then honestly, from that point, meeting you was definitely like the next level up for me in my outdoors world, because then I got introduced to like your hunting world, and super foreign to me. Fishing kept building throughout that time. And then it was probably about 10 years ago when I moved up here and lived at your cottage for a bit for work or whatever. And that's when it really, I couldn't escape it. It was hunting all around me, and you loved it. And that's when I didn't even understand it. And we can get into that later or whatever, but like, then the hunting kind of became on my radar. But yeah, overall, like the very first thing that got me into the outdoors was ice fishing, and it's still my favorite thing to this day. Like, and going to Temagami is still something we did right up until that lodge closed, and then COVID kind of, like it did for everything, put a gap in going there, and then we kind of tried to revive the Temagami trip, and we struggled with it a bit, and I'm hoping we can kind of create the next generation, which is crazy to think it'll be like the third generation of that trip. Because it was the first gen was like my dad and my uncle Jorgen, who started it. Like, shout out to him, and he started that whole trip. And then the second gen was like our generation joining, and then we're kind of waiting on that third generation to bring that trip back. So that was what started it all for me.
Crazy, man. It's such it's such a special spot, not just like Loon Lodge, like just the people there. It was like this home away from home, something to always look forward to. And it definitely, I think for both of us, like jump started this whole like new outdoor adventure to do something in the wintertime. It was like, all right, it's fucking, like we said, -20 out. Let's go ice fish and go on this lake and slay. Obviously every time we slayed. So
to this day, I think about those trips all the time. And now I go ice, like, we both go ice fishing as much as we can in the winter. So now it's rods and sonars and augers and sleds and all this stuff and all this technology. And I don't necessarily miss like not having that technology, but it was cool at the time to not know any of that world and to just go for what it was. And I try to do that in life more and more and more as I get older. It's just like make things simpler. And everything is so convoluted and complicated and technology focused now. The best times are when the sonar dies. Those are always end up being the best trips. Like you're out, it's cold, it's windy, and all of a sudden, boom, sonar dies, and you're like, in that moment, it sucks. And then those next few hours are usually always the most fun. And you stop looking at the sonar and you start talking again, and you start waiting, and then all of a sudden you get a hit and you didn't expect it, and it kind of brings you back to like that time. That's my phone. Sorry.
No worries.
Cardinal sin of a podcast.
I'll make sure this thing is still recording. Okay, dope.
So I like remembering where I came from in that world of not having all that technology. I love where it is now, and being an experienced ice fisherman, I would say now. But ice fishing started it all. And then the next stage for me would be you teaching me about hunting, and my journey of hunting kind of started 10 years ago with living at your cottage and the influence from you and seeing that, and then kind of sitting in on a few hunts with you pre me getting into hunting. And that it was more of a slower snowball for me in the hunting world. But once I kind of was immersed in that life, it was the same thing as like going ice fishing for that first time. It was like going on that first sit with you to watch you hunt for deer or whatever in your forest in Brooks Falls. And it was just like that moment of going ice fishing for the first time. Like same feeling of hooking up a trout for that first time and feeling the weight on the line and that like crazy feeling, and then going hunting and just like seeing a deer in the forest and I've seen deer before, but seeing it in that environment was the exact same feeling. And then 10 years later, not still total rookie, but it's just,
dude,
passion.
What I do have to commend you for like putting in the time and the effort year after year, like starting something, because like, I don't know, you see a lot of people say, hey, you're on the boat for 10 minutes. I haven't caught anything. This sucks, you know, and to actually just enjoy it for what it is as the process of like, it's not just about the catch. It's about the process, but like just starting into something, learning the ropes, enjoying it for what it is, taking it all in. Like, oh, I'm sitting at this hole. There's ice. Okay. Well, this is kind of cool. This is how you do it. And then like you said, snowball from there. And yeah, man, to see you come from over the years, collect the different gear, get a bow, shoot the bow. And then I really think is like probably like the last 2 years where you're just like, yo, I'm going like, dark to dark, I'm fucking going, and then just putting in like crazy hours. Yeah. Like, 2 years ago, I guess when Carter shot his buck, you fucking went the whole week at my place, and it kind of hurt. It kind of it's like the whole week here, didn't say anything. Carter comes up for a day, fucking shoots a buck in that same spot.
Yeah, and it's like, holy shit. That's hunting, right? Yeah. Like you can spend 12, 13 hours outside for weeks, and then someone can go out for a day and get that buck, and it's not right or wrong or indifferent. It is what it is. And it's just a reminder that like, hey, nature doesn't wait for you. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. And the way to increase your chances is time, really. Yeah. And I kind of picked up on that. Yeah, you're right. A few years ago, I'd say, 3 years ago is when I started really like saying like, hey, if I'm going to do this, it's not a 2-hour morning sit. It's not a comfortable wait for the weather to be right. It's you got to go and put the hours in and devote yourself for that day. And, I can't even count on two hands how many dark to dark sits I've done now. And it's probably, up maybe in the hundreds even. And, all of those hours, it doesn't even, all the hours equal the kill or whatever. It's not. It's like all the hours is just time in the jar, of hunting. Yeah. And it's your lifelong thing. Yeah. And you don't remember all the hunts, but it's in you. Like I feel that way. Every dark to dark you do, every long day you do, every rainy day you do where you're not going to see anything, but you do it anyways. You're putting $1 in the jar every time. And it's just building that like experience and just like becomes part of you. So I like that. And fishing's the same. Like, and I don't know if it's something in people's personalities, like you and I can go out and we can literally sit on a frozen lake for 12, 14 hours without a single hit, and still we leave having the best day ever. And I know some people who can't. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's a personality thing. And I grew up like in a music world more than a nature world. So like learning guitar for me was the same thing. Like the only way you get good at guitar is by practicing and by putting that time in. And then every once in a while, every few years, you learn a new technique and it's a light bulb goes off and it makes everything a bit easier. And that happens every few years. And I feel like hunting and fishing is the same thing. Yeah. You're just, every year you're trying to learn a new chord. And the only way you do that is by practicing and doing it. Yeah. And I think I kind of picked up on that. Yeah. Trying and failing. And I think I picked up on that, like, okay, that's the key. And that was a few years ago. And then, you put the hours in and eventually you get meat in the freezer, which is, the ultimate
goal. Speaking about meat in the freezer, you were pretty successful last year.
Yeah.
So, and to revisit the whole time, put in the time. So you took off, was it the first week of gun?
It was the second week of gun.
Second week of gun in Ontario. So that's like
the last week. You only get 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, and it'd be like the third week of November. Yeah. So you went off third week in November. You're with your soon-to-be father-in-law. Yeah. And you guys started off being on Crown Land, which is like something new to you as well.
Very new. Yeah. 2 years for Crown Land.
Yeah. Yeah. So you started going on Crown Land, went out of your comfort zone from just going like, because you can like up here, you can just sit on the same property and just be like, you get so zoned in, comfortable. So it goes to somewhere new, explore, learn is, I'd say, like out of the ordinary for most hunters. So you went to somewhere new, went off, did dark to dark sits with your father-in-law, split up, did your thing. You saw a deer. Yeah. Almost fucking was successful the first day.
Yeah. First day. Yeah. We went out Crown Land. It was my first Crown Land, like official first Crown Land deer hunt. I had gone with my bow a couple times earlier that season. So I guess, whatever. I guess I had done a couple, but they were shorter, 2, 3 hour, 4 hours on my own. And then, with my father-in-law, Bob, we did, who's a lifelong hunter himself. Muskoka Bob. Shout out to Muskoka Bob. That's another story. We can talk about how we came up with that name. But I went out with him and we did 4 dark to dark sits in a row. And that was my first time, like, I used gun at that point. yeah, and the first day, like within the first hour, I'm sitting there and I see a buck like 200 yards out down this ridge, not canyon, more like a ridge. And it would just like, it was one of those light bulb moments like I'm talking about. Like I found the cord that day. Like you see the buck and you're like, it can happen. Like, cause it seems so impossible.
Yeah. Especially after like years and years,
yeah.
like, oh my God, these fucking things exist.
Yeah. Do they even exist? They're like, they're like ghosts up here really. And like in our area, they're so skittish. They're so hard to like, you see these videos again in the States of these guys that just like walk around or like they're loud and they're talking and boom, there's a huge buck. Yeah. Like it's nothing.
Yeah. They rattle in, they do whatever.
It's so challenging here. But yeah, that was the Crown land hunt for that week. And we did 4 days back to back, dark to dark. And like, it was a crazy learning experience and hard and tiring. And we were unsuccessful and, demotivating in a way, but that's the whole point of hunting. It's like, when it doesn't, in that moment, it's demotivating.
Yeah.
But then a few days later, when you have energy again and everything, you think back and you're like, oh, I got to get back out there. I can't let it win. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we changed our strategy the last weekend of the season, and we came up to your property. So obviously huge thank you to you for letting us use your property. And like the only reason I hunt and can hunt and know how to hunt is from you. And you're my hunting mentor and taught me everything I know and provided the space and the land. And I think that's a huge like barrier of entry into hunting is land. Yeah. So that's something we can talk about too. But yeah, and then it was the Saturday, so the last day would be the Sunday. So the day before the last day of the season, we came up and did a dark to dark here at your property and ended up being successful. Yeah.
Dude, well, you also, I mean, that year too, we're putting in a lot of time, I'd say, of setup. You got your first tree stand, which was dope. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, instead of like you being like, oh, I'm just going to have this tree stand, I'm going to try to find somewhere closer to me. You're like, yo, I'm going to drive up to my place an hour away and set it up in the field so that not only you could use it, I could use it and stuff. So like, thanks for setting all that stuff up. Yeah. And then I ever get a video of you out there and it's like hailing. Oh yeah. And you're like, what the fuck, boys, is going on? And you're like sawing off limbs and you moved a different tree.
Yeah, that was.
And so like you're putting in the time before the season, found a cool spot, found a cool tree, got a tree stand, set it up. And so explain that day. So you started in that stand, right? Like that.
Yeah. So it was a really weird weather day. It was beautiful, like cold morning, third week of November, walked out in your field. So pretty much you park here at your house and then walk down the main trail, which then opens up into the back of your property, into your field and everything. And it was, went out in the dark and I was with my father-in-law. So actually, I'm just remembering now. And it's a lot. Like I live an hour away. So we drive up, we do our thing. Yeah. We came into your garage, got ready, got geared up, went out. And so we hike out. How far is it from here to your field? Like maybe 500 meters, like 300 meters, maybe.
I think more yards. I think like 500 yards.
500 yards. Yeah. So like maybe 300 meters or something.
Whatever that.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking in meters now, but American. Let's just say 500 yards, and we walk out, and then we go out in the bush, and I kind of I walked my father-in-law actually. I walked Bob out all the way down into the back of your property, which is probably a couple K.
Oh yeah, that's far. And then you're dealing with hills.
Yeah, hills, and it's pitch black. And you and I created like a bypass trail the year before to get there without going on the main trail because it kind of floods and stuff. So we went through it. Anyways, I took my father-in-law all the way to his spot, and that took quite a bit of time, say 30 minutes or something. Get him there, put him there, and then as I'm about to leave, he realizes that he didn't bring his gun. So I was like, "Oh shit!"
Classic mistake of Bob.
You hear a couple birds chirping, so you start to know, like, "Oh shit, the morning is coming. Like the light is coming." Yeah. We put all this extra effort in to wake up at 3 a.m, and now I'm losing that chance. So I'm like, "Okay, Bob, you stay here. I'm gonna drop all my gear and power hike back to the truck and get your gun." So I just dropped all my stuff, took off my coat because I was already sweating, and that goes back to the gear, having cheap gear and stuff. So I'm already wet. It's cold outside. And I just like, all right, I'm just going to go get his gun. So I just power hiked back to the truck, got his gun, made sure the ammo was there, all good. Hiked all the way back, made tons of noise.
And your scent going through the field of what you're hunting is going now, what does that be? 3 times through?
That'd be my third time, the third trip going back.
Yeah.
I can hear that I'm spooking deer. And it's just like worst morning ever. Hike all the way back in. I can hear things moving, and then I finally make it back to him. I kind of got lost actually trying to find the spot too, because I was all kerfuffled and frustrated. And then I find him. I give him his gun. We're all good. He's set up, and then I have to hike that same hike all the way back to the field. And then I finally, long story short, make it to my deer stand probably an hour and 15 minutes after the initial trek out. Yeah. And the sun is up. Yeah. And now it's daylight. And I'm like,
you're like, Dave's done.
Dave's done. I was completely demotivated.
And that sits with you too. Like, you're just like those minutes, those like hour minutes are just like, that's everything. Like, I came out here early for the reason to not do this. And now I'm doing this. Now this could define your whole day. You're sitting with those thoughts, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Now you're just pissed off, and you're.
That was exactly it. So that's how I felt. And then I got to my tree stand. I was wet. I was sweating like crazy. And I don't remember the temperature. I know it was cold, but it wasn't like -20 or anything, but it's probably around zero. It was sub-zero. And I'm sweating, and I know that's going to bite me later. And I'm like trying to put my layers back on at the bottom of the deer stand while I'm so hot and sweaty, which is a terrible feeling because in 30 minutes I'm going to be cold.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to prepare for that. And anyways, I then finally get into my tree stand, and it's daylight. And I'm like, all right. And then it's sunny out, and then it kind of started snowing. And up here, like, it's really cool when you have those sunny days where there's snow coming down, and I love it. Like, dude. So luckily then I kind of had, you have time to yourself, and you finally get quiet, and there's nothing. You probably know this feeling too. Like, sometimes when you walk out, you don't realize how loud you're being until that moment when you just sit in your stand and stop moving. And then all of a sudden it's just silent.
Oh, you're like, whoa.
And you realize, like, okay, now I'm here. And you kind of have to meditate a bit.
Yeah, you zen out, like, take a deep breath.
Yes. All right. And that's exactly what I did. And then I kind of reset the day. And I was like, all right, this is going to be an afternoon hunt for me, which it ended up being. But I sat for maybe an hour or two, and it was, I think, I could be remembering wrong, but I think it was around 9:30 or so in the morning. And then it's sunny, it's snowing, and I look out across your field, and there's a beautiful, huge buck just standing. It was probably 400 yards away, 300 maybe, across your field.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure. I thought I was like hallucinating, to be honest, because the morning was so bad. And it was one of those classic moments where the deer has its head down, and you're like, is that a deer? And then boom, it just pops its head up, and your heart just goes from 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour.
And you had a doe tag too.
I had a doe tag too, so I could
open game.
I could shoot anything pretty much, doe, buck. And it was a beautiful buck.
Yeah.
And
I see that. You sent the photo.
Yeah, I sent you a photo.
And I was like, oh my God. I was just like waiting for that next text to be like, dude, I just took a shot. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was probably one of the closest, like, up to that point where I thought, okay, this deer is going to come into like your food plot, which I had a great vantage point on, and that's going to be it. And that situation didn't work out, but I watched that deer, and it was probably there for 30 minutes, and it zigzagged in. It kind of knew something was up. And I think the wind was bad. And eventually, kind of over a 30-minute period, I lost it, and it went away. And I lost it going over actually this hill over here, because it was working towards your food plot. And then I lost it into the bush. And then that was it for the morning. And then the rest of the sit from that encounter all the way up until, well, then I guess I sat until lunch, and then Bob stayed in the bush, and I was feeling a bit demotivated at that point. So I came down and I reset, and I came back to your garage and had lunch by myself, and just kind of like reset, thought about the day, thought about a strategy. And then I had to make the decision. Do I go back to my tree stand, or do I go to your tree stand, which was kind of, I don't know how to really explain it, but like maybe a couple 100 yards away from the tree stand I was sitting in. And that was a really tough decision, because I was trying to think of where will the sun be, and where is the wind going to go. And I was texting you that day and like showing you screenshots of the wind and everything. And long story short, I made the decision at lunchtime to, when I go back out, I'm going to go to Dan's tree stand instead of going to mine. And maybe I'll just catch it coming in a different angle or whatever.
Yeah. Be a little closer. Cause like where my tree stand is, it's just closer to the plot. Like your stand is probably 250 maybe, or 200 yards maybe from, I think because I think as you were texting me, I was seeing the distance,
Yes.
or was it maybe? No, yeah, it was definitely over 100.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like
it's at least 150.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah.
So quite a distance, and you're shooting from a tree with a gun, so it's like you don't have like the best stability.
Yeah.
And then there was like whatever you said, like there was like branches and stuff in the way. But then so anyways, my tree stand would be like a 70-yard shot for where that half the distance.
Yes.
So that's huge.
So that was kind of the strategic thinking into changing the tree stand. For the day. And honestly, I was just kind of in a weird headspace from that morning too, and it just seemed chaotic. So long, in the end, I made that decision, go to Dan's tree stand. So I went there. It was 1:00 in the afternoon, and I knew, it was actually really sunny. It was warming up at that point. So I thought, nothing's going to happen till later in the evening. So went to your tree stand. It was actually really challenging to get up it because it's the climbing type of tree stand. It was my first time ever using a climbing stand. So I'm like trying to figure it out, making so much noise again. Like everything that could go wrong that day went wrong.
Fuck's sake.
It took me probably an hour to like get up and comfortable into the tree.
Yeah, the tree. And also I initially set that tree up to have climbing sticks. So there's lots of nubs of branches in the way. Yeah. So it's kind of like a last resort tree stand, being like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw it there just as like a backup to have it there. Because Carter ended up, like the year before, shot a buck out of that tree where I had a better setup for two tree stands.
Yeah, that's where Carter was.
That's where Carter was. So I was like, so for this year, I wasn't really planning on even hunting the field. So I was like, my main stand was in the bush. I had the backup stand, which is my dad's old stand. Also, that stand is like, I don't know, 20 years old, 25 years old. Like it's like retro. Still works great.
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, works great in an ideal tree.
Yeah.
Doesn't work great when you got
that was a tough tree with all the nubs. I had to maneuver and I was like learning as I was doing it and trying to keep myself safe. And then at a certain point I just unhooked myself from everything. I was like, fuck it. If I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna send it. And then I finally got like around this nub and got up high enough.
Yeah.
Because it was challenging to like get up high enough.
Yeah,
I found, and I was getting stuck at this one nub, so I was too low. I was like 5 feet off the ground. I was like, "This isn't gonna work."
This is stupid.
Yeah. So, anyways, then I get up the tree.
So how high were you? Do you think?
It's a good question. Maybe not honestly, not that high, and probably not high enough. Maybe like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm standing
so good
there,
enough elevation.
like good enough. There was this nub and it was keeping me at like 6 feet and I just felt way too close to the ground. I felt like if a deer comes from any direction, I'm going to be, it's just going to look right at me the way the hills were.
Totally.
So I worked hard to like get around that nub and I got up. And honestly, I'm terrible with heights too. So like, I always feel like I'm way higher than I actually am. Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna go with like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 to 10 feet. Like not even that high.
Yeah.
So got there, got in that stand and then just waited and 2 to 4 went by and nothing happened. Beautiful sun was starting to go down. And then I actually had another encounter with another buck. So it'd be the second buck of the day and it came in from behind me and took me by surprise. I had my phone in my hand, texting you probably or something. And I just casually like loudly turned and looked behind me and boom, there's a younger buck. Maybe I think it was a fork just maybe 100 yards away, but directly behind me. And I got the worst case of like buck fever and I was shaking and I couldn't control it. And I don't know why, but probably because it was the second encounter of the day.
Yeah. And you don't get like, I mean,
I'm not used to that. Yeah.
Like, and you and I have been logging lots of hours at my place.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time we like, or not, the first time you and I both saw those 2 bucks.
Yeah.
Remember that early morning came in, like, holy shit, we're finally seeing bucks like coming in. This is so cool at this place. And then they were gone and that was it for the year. And like, they're there, but you don't see them. So even if you see deer, like does, that's awesome. Like, holy shit, I actually saw deer that day. That's amazing. To see a buck during daylight, it's like, holy shit. To see 2, it's like, oh my God.
It's unheard of.
Yeah.
So I think that just got in my head. And I was like, crazy buck fever. And I was trying to calm myself down and I knew it was behind me and I literally had to twist my body 180 degrees just to get a shot. And I'm moving, I'm making noise. And eventually I got set up for a shot. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember a gust of wind just like smoking me from behind and going directly towards that buck. And honestly, if I handled the situation better, I probably could have shot that buck.
Yeah.
But mixed with like the buck fever, shaking, and me just making noise. It kind of knew something was up. And then this gust of wind came and its nose was like direct, like it knew something was going on. And then it just literally turned and slowly walked away. And I had it in my scope, but I was staring, right at its ass, and it just wasn't the right moment. I tried to stop it. I tried to make some noises, and it was too far at that point. And I remember I just totally thought I messed that up,
bro. Yeah.
And I was texting you, and I was like, I'm done.
You're like, dude, I think you said like, well, my hunt's done, or like something like that.
I literally texted you like,
it's over.
It's over. Like the season's done. I just ruined my only shot, because it would have been, if I handled that situation better, I would have had a shot at it.
Right.
And that was like eating at me like crazy. So I remember texting you.
Especially that's a long day. And then you just did the like week-long, basically, like dark to dark, putting in the time, walking, doing this, all this shit. Plus the morning you just had, like that shit weighs on you, being like, I am defeated, and you're just like accepting it almost, just because you have a good feeling that like that's gonna be the result, because it has been the result in years prior. And all of a sudden, like, you're sitting there and you're like, I have like I don't know how much time was left, but it was like
maybe an hour left. In the day.
So you're like, the odds are, for sure, nothing's going to fucking come by.
Zero. In my mind, the odds were zero. And I remember, I don't exactly remember what I said to you, but I remember texting you saying like, my year's over, or my hunt is done. Like I just fucked everything up and it's over. Like, so that was probably the lowest. What's that?
I'm just going to check to see.
It's
still recording. Okay, nice.
Yeah, that was probably the lowest hunting moment of my life so far, was messing up that situation with that buck, letting it walk away, and then just thinking about it. What could I have done? I should have done this. I should have done that. And I'm texting you, and it's over. And I literally considered just getting out of the tree and going home. And I was so demotivated.
And how close were you to that one, do you think?
That buck was 100 yards.
100 yards. Okay.
Yeah, but behind me. So I had to like wrap myself around the tree, which eventually I got in position.
Okay, yep.
But
so you're basically sitting...
like I'm looking out to the field.
To the left of you is the whole field.
The whole field.
Okay.
So I had to turn further to my left and pretty much look maybe 90 degrees.
Okay.
Not behind me. I guess it'd be 90
scoop.
degrees. Yeah. Well, actually, the way I was sitting, it would have been directly behind me.
Yeah.
And it came out that channel, that coming up into your property. And it was just like a casual, like I just turned and looked behind the tree and boom, it's there. And then I didn't, what I should have done was stop, catch my breath, know what's behind me, know I'm covered by the tree, and take my time. And I should have thought, how can I get the gun in my hands? How can I make this almost 180 degree turn and get set up for a shot? And I didn't do that. I just freaked out and started shaking and clanked my gun off the chair. And so, I botched it. Honestly, I botched that whole situation. And then I'm just thinking about it. I'm demotivated. I'm ready to go. And then I'm texting you, and then, like hunting always does, or fishing, you just go, all right, I'll just take it to the end of the day. Might as well just sit here. Bob was out in the bush. I'm like, all right.
Like, what else are we going to do?
So I'm sitting there, and I think that was around 4:00. And I think at that point in the year, time had already changed. We only had about till 5:30 to hunt.
Yeah.
And I wait about 35, 40 minutes. The sun's going down. It's starting to get a little dark, starting to get not hard to see, but like, that within 10, 15 minutes, you're going to get in that realm where it's hard to kind of see. So I was totally giving up at that point, put it that way. And I'm sitting there, and it was about 4:45, and I think I had about until 5:15 probably. And I'm sitting there, and then pretty much planning my pack out and how I'm going to get out. And I just kind of look out into the far part of your field, and just that magical moment of like, I look out and just boom, pop up a deer, probably 400 yards down your field, coming directly towards me, which would have been right near, like further, but along the line of where the original stand was I sat that morning.
Yeah.
And nice, I thought at the time was a 10-point buck, just popped its head up.
Yeah.
And
fucking beautiful.
I just froze. And I remember just being like in my mind, like, oh my God, like, I'm going to get another chance. And that is what I was thinking of in that moment, was like, how lucky am I just to even see another buck after I already saw 2 for the day, and one where I totally botched it. And it was only 30 minutes ago. So I thought I blew that.
Yeah.
But no, whole different buck. And I think it was well, actually, you tell me, was it the same buck I saw that morning? Because you had it on cameras and everything.
No, it was different. Okay. So different one.
Yeah. So it was the third
$3
buck of the day.
$3.
And it was maybe 300 to 400 yards all the way at the other end of the field. And honestly, it just zigzagged its entire way in. It went right by the original stand that I was in. I would have had like a 50-yard shot if I was in the first stand. But who knows if it
the wind and all that stuff. Right? Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how things work out.
Yeah.
And then it zigzagged its way all the way down until it got about 110 yards from me. And then it was standing directly straight at me. And I had my gun set up. It was in my sights. I was prepared. I was calm this time. I was telling myself, you got a second chance. Like, take your time with it. And it was 110 yards, eye to eye, staring right at me. And then I was just waiting for that moment where it would take a step to the side. Mm-hmm. And it took maybe a 10-degree step to the side. So I had just an angle at its kind of front shoulder. And I was trying to decide, do I wait for it to go broadside? Do I make a noise? Do I try to get it to turn, or do I just take this opportunity?
So now you're a race against the clock and
it was getting dark. It was like right? 5 o'clock at this point. So I had maybe 15 minutes left. Yeah. So it was like the crunch time.
Basically your last day.
My last day. I knew I wasn't coming back. Yeah.
So that's all the scenario, like factoring in on your decision making too, being like, shit, like this is my opportunity. These are the very, like, the situation he's giving me. What do I do?
That's exactly where I was. And then it took that step to the side, maybe a 10-15 degree angle. And I took a shot, and I took that shot, and it didn't move at all. It just stood there. Now later I would find out that shot hit it, and it was a really good shot.
That's crazy.
In that moment,
buck or nothing.
It didn't even move.
Yeah.
And a sidebar on this is the ammo I was using was, I don't know guns very well, to be honest. I was using my father-in-law's, what's it called? Like lever action rifle. And it was a pointed solid body ammo. So it doesn't mushroom on impact.
Oh shit.
And so other bigger ammo would hit and mushroom.
Yeah. Blow up. And then
this one,
damage.
I forget what they're called. They're like red tip.
Okay. Was it Hornady?
Hornadys.
Yeah, Hornadys. Yes. Yeah, so the red tip breaks off.
Yes, the red tip breaks off, but the rest of the bullet doesn't mushroom. It just stays. Or maybe it's supposed to, but it didn't. I'd find that out later. But anyways, that first shot went through the front shoulder, literally through most of the body, through the vitals, through one of the lungs, and then out the back left hind quarter. So that was a kill shot. And if I had just stopped there, eventually it probably would have died, but it did not move. It didn't react. It was just looking around. It didn't drop. So I was convinced I missed it. And then I went into buck fever, and I was like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? Then it turned broadside. It did a bit of a gallop and then stopped. And then I took another shot at it broadside, which also hit it. Didn't move. Didn't budge, and it was like I missed both shots. And I was convinced I missed. And then honestly, it turned, it didn't run, it didn't gallop, it didn't jump, it didn't fall. It just walked away. Yeah. And it walked back the way it came, zigzagging like it came in. So I thought I missed it. So admittedly, I unloaded my rifle pretty much as it was walking away, like 120 yards, 150 yards, 200 yards,
if it's not running away, you're like, what the fuck?
It made no reaction at all.
Yeah.
Like I hit it.
Yeah.
In the end, I would find out that the first two shots did hit it, and it would have died. And then I hit it on a third shot, which, I hit its leg, and that was it was like 200 yards. So that at that point, you think back and should I have taken those shots or whatever? But in that moment,
you didn't know. Yeah, you had no idea. Like, or like it was else. Okay, holy shit! Did I like wing him or did I wound him? Mm-hmm. The last thing you want would be to actually hit him in the gut or something.
Exactly.
And then have him suffer or whatever. Yep. So you're just like also been like, fuck, I got to get him down, regardless if it's like hit him in a good shot or bad shot. Plus the sun setting, like it's hard to see those shots. Like if it actually did hit, and it's your first time, shooting at a big game animal, and you're like, what the fuck?
And like now I know if I had just waited after that first shot, because of the type of ammo, it doesn't really like knock them down. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a punch; it's more just goes through them.
Yeah.
If I had just waited, it probably would have just stood there looking like nothing happened and bled out.
Yeah.
And probably just then fell
Stumble,
over right
maybe
in that spot.
give you some sort of like sign that like, I'm hurt.
But I was so like literally like survival instinct, eyes pinned. All that was going through my mind was do whatever you have to do to get that buck down, that I wasn't even thinking that way.
Yeah.
Like, you got a good shot. I didn't know. I just convinced myself, and this is all within like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
The time is
talking about it is like minutes, but in that moment it was 10 seconds, maybe. Yeah, and then it walked away, and then I watched the whole way, and it turned and walked right into the bush, and in that moment I was convinced I just missed it 6 times, and I'm an idiot, and I can't hunt, and I was like, I'm never hunting again. Like, how the hell did I miss that? Yeah. And heart's going a million miles an hour. And then I just waited. I sat in the tree. I calmed myself down. I waited. Eventually, then I came down when it was, too dark, past shooting time. Came down from the tree. I called you to let you know that, hey, man, I shot at this deer. I think I missed it. Like, how could I miss it? I'm like kind of freaking out. And then honestly, my father-in-law came out of the bush and we met in the field. And I said to him that I had a beautiful buck come in. I missed it. I'm convinced I missed it. And he just went, no, you definitely hit it. Without knowing anything. And like just him saying that honestly like changed my perspective, where he was like, no, I've been where you are. Yeah. Like, I know what you're feeling. No, you hit it.
You're good.
Like, you're good. And I needed that so bad in that moment. And it just like totally stopped the panic. And I was like, okay, this guy's been through it like for decades. And the way he just said it was so reassuring. Like, no, you got it. Like, chill, calm down. Yeah. You got it. And at that point, we backed out. We went to your house. We kind of regrouped, changed our gear. And we waited 1 hour. And then, cause I wasn't sure on the type of shot, I wasn't even sure if I hit it.
You want to bump him and
I didn't
run.
Exactly.
If he's going to bleed out, let him bleed out.
Yeah. And like probably every hunter, I'm like overthinking it at this point and like, what's the right thing to do?
Yeah. And all you want to do is like, just start looking. Yeah. So all you want to do is just see that first sign of blood or something, or just something that just tells you like, of what you just did, okay, this is what happened. Like, you just want to get out there. I've done that so many times where it's like, I just shot it. Continue the process. It's hard to be like, take a breather, get back, relax, and then go back out.
And I think that's the beauty of hunting, is like, it teaches you how to calm down in stressful situations. Yeah. And that's when people are like, you get in a car accident, something dramatic happens in your life. Hunting is like the best thing to teach you how to, like, when you have that adrenaline pumping, how to still stay in control of yourself. Yeah. And I'm no expert at all at that yet. Like, that's a lifetime to learn that. Yeah. But that was that type of situation. And eventually we went out and we went back to the spot, and it took us about 10 minutes. And then boom, Bob was shining his light and blood. And he just said that word blood, and it was the happiest moment of my life. Like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Just to see blood and have the feeling that I know I hit it. Yeah. And it was in that spot where it was standing when I took the first shot. And it was like a million emotions at once. Carter was there, which helped us a lot. And then, we tracked that blood trail, and it was a very light blood trail because the animal actually just bled internally. The type of bullet, the type of shot I took, it just bled out. And from the kill spot to where we found it was 100 yards.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's all it went.
Yeah. And that's not far.
Yeah.
And when you think about an animal walking, or yourself walking, 100 yards is nothing. Yeah. That's a football field.
Yeah. And I remember Bob was actually convinced that we should maybe leave it longer, because at that time when we saw the blood trail was so light, he wasn't convinced on what type of shot I had. Which is kind of funny, because before he gave me all this confidence, and then once we found the blood, he was like, I don't know. And I was like, what the hell?
So
like,
where did you hit it again?
Yeah, so it was kind of like a 180 on that, which is funny. But in that moment, nothing was stopping me. Like, I would have tracked that blood for 10 hours. Yeah, I would have went all night. So we ended up, it took about 20 minutes. We just treated, or bush to bush to bush to bush, and we tracked blood. And I marked it all in my app, and which is cool because you can see like the blood trail. And then the deer had just cut into the forest, and maybe 15 to 20 yards from cutting into the forest, you have a fence that goes through there, like a farm fence, maybe 10 yards into the bush line. It jumped that fence, and that killed it, and it just dropped. Done. So we walked in, and that was a moment where Bob was saying, like, maybe we should call it, maybe we should wait till the morning. And then I saw like a nice pool of blood, and I went down, I was looking at it. And when I looked up further to that, I saw the deer lying there. And
that's crazy.
Like, happiest moment of my life, seeing that deer.
Oh, I remember, I think you called me like, dude, dude, I found it. And I was
Yeah.
like, no way. And then you sent me a photo. And even from the back of that deer, I was like, I know that deer.
Yeah, you knew it.
And I was like, I was so excited. I wish I was there. I wish I was there, but
obviously you weren't after all those hours.
I know.
And everything.
Fuck, no, man. I think come hunt season, I just gonna have to stay at home and just not leave. And if anyone comes up here, I'm just here. But yeah, man, I was just so excited for you guys. Like, not just like for you, especially, like that's a huge moment. You shot your first big game animal, big ass buck, beautiful deer.
Yeah.
You're with your father-in-law. Carter's there, which is my brother-in-law. But anyways, it's the camaraderie, I guess, of the whole thing, of like people being excited for other people. Everyone's a hunter there, and just being like pumped up, and then be like, holy shit, and that changes your night. Like that just makes like it's just, I don't know. I just get so excited when I see success on somebody that has put in years, time, weeks of you went that whole week. Like, I don't know how many hours, but like you were probably putting in, like, not just sitting, but like driving, preparation, all those things. I don't know, over like 60, 100, I don't know what, but like a lot of time. And then to come out on a success, and then now to see you with a picture holding that fucking rack and just being like, what? Just like, that is like the coolest thing, man.
Yeah. It was a great, me too. I'm still pumped. It was a great story, really. And it was like everything. It was the perfect hunting story where like you botch the whole morning, but you still see a deer. Then you're demotivated, but you see another one, and then you completely botch your second chance. So I botched the first chance, botched the second chance. And then it was like the universe just said, all right, you get a third strike, and either take it or you don't get a deer this year. And then it happened. Boom. Yeah.
Finish it up.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. Crazy to be there with my father-in-law. And it was the first buck, like, harvesting that he's been a part of in quite a few years. So that was mad special. And then Carter was there, and he helped me drag that thing out, and it ended up being a huge buck. So it ended up being at 9 point. That's why I said earlier, at the time I thought it was a 10 point, but it ended up having like a brow tine broke off, which is really cool because you and I had talked like a month before that about starting a company called 9 Point.
Yeah.
And then this deer that I shoot is a 9 point, which is like, what are the chances of that? Fuck. And finding it, I still have that picture that I took literally in that moment. When I looked up, I saw it, and then I just took a picture of it. And like, it's just, there's a full moon right behind it. And shot my first buck, was a 9 point, was big, was really hard to drag in the bush. Took us a good hour and a half to just get it like out to the main trail. And then just the classic hunting story, right? Like, drag it back to the truck, load it in. We went and had a drink, and then me and Bob drove back to my house down about an hour away, and then got it there and got it. Oh, well, we had gutted it in the bush. So we washed it out at my house, washed it out. And then I left it in the bed of my truck that night. It was cold again, and left it there. And then the next morning hung it up and did the whole processing. So
damn.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's the story of my first buck.
Dude, super cool. And now you have a beautiful, and you did a Euro mount.
You have a
Euro mount, which for people who don't know, Euro mounts, it's basically this buck that's on the table here. Yep. It's the skull. You can whiten it, but it's just the skull, just the bone with the antlers. Yeah. I like those.
It,
those.
And I did it myself, and I did the Euro mount, and then I preserved the bottom jaw, did the Euro mount, and then I ended up months late. So then all winter went by, and I had froze the hide, and then this spring I actually tanned the hide. Yeah. So did that.
How'd that go?
10 times harder than I thought it would be, and I'm never going to do it again. So
let the pros deal with that.
Let the pros tan hides. Yeah. That's my recommendation to anyone that actually listens to this: is don't tan your own. Tan your first hide.
Tan your first hide.
Tan your first hide.
That's what I did.
And never do it again. Because it was extreme hard work, and I have immense respect for people that do that. Especially, I tried to do it more like the indigenous way, and like I made a rack, I hung it, I dried it, I scraped it, I did all that, and build my my scraping post and everything. And in the end, I did the butchering myself too. So like, I think you got to do that for your first big game, is like do it all, do the whole process yourself. I'll probably never tan a hide again. I'll always butcher my meat probably. And the Euro mount wasn't that bad. But
that's another thing I wanted.
The process was crazy
to talk about, was the butchering. And you took that all on by yourself. And Bob, your father-in-law, was like, shocked almost.
He was doubtful. He didn't want me to
He was
do
like,
it.
what do you do? Like,
Yeah, he
what?
thought I was going to ruin that meat.
Yeah. And you did.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for it either. I totally agree with him. I would say that probably to someone else.
Well, you work so
as
hard.
well.
And the last thing you want to do is like, that's the fruit of your labor.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is like destroy it in a way.
Yep.
But on the other side, I feel like it's like you do the animal the due diligence, and you're also more connected with your meat, right? You have that one, you're like the one step up from being like, okay, I killed it. Like speaking like from firsthand basis, like I've killed animals, butchered them up, cooked them, whatever. And then the only time I took a black bear to get butchered, and it was just like, so you shoot the bear, you throw it in your truck, you drop it off, and it's all fine and dandy. But then you come back, and which is great. So you pay a fee, you get all your meat cut up. You're like, oh, cool, save me time, whatever. But then I just was like, that was weird. All of a sudden, this bear that I was so excited for, it's like great and everything. I had this massive bear, then it's just gone, and now it's packaged, and I just lost that step in the process. Like that's a huge process for me, and I'm glad you did too, because you can see like it's like a huge it's a big undertaking.
It was a ton of work.
It's a lot of work. You said you got a lot of meat off it. You gave me a lot, which thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
too nice. And actually, I just cooked. I told you, I just cooked the heart. It was fucking great, man. I had 2 nice steaks. I was like blown away. I was like 2 nice steaks off of half a heart. Yeah, not even the whole heart, half a heart. And it's salt, pepper that mofo, fried it, bam, bam. Oh, dude, I love
awesome.
heart. And and so to take that on, I respect people who like do that butchering process, because I think a lot of people just like, just take a butcher, get back my sausage, and so to like learn
honestly,
about
I feel like it's the same process as hunting. That like the after kill is you have to put the time in. Yeah, and it's hard, and you regret it,
and you don't know.
And
what
you go through it. You don't know what you're doing at the time, and you're learning. Yeah, it's no different than all the hours I put into getting the shot. I put the hours into butchering it, and you regret it at moments. You're happy at moments. You wish you didn't do it at moments, and then when it's done, it's like going for a hard long run or something. Yeah. Like when it's done, I look back now and I have a freezer full of meat that I butchered from the animal that I killed. I have a skull on the wall.
Only you touched it.
Only you touched it. That's a skull on the wall crazy. That I did the Euro mount, and I got a hide rolled up and tied that I tanned. Yep. And that's it. And that it brings the whole story to a close, and no one else touched it. Yeah. And no knock at all. Like I might try a butcher down the road, and I don't know.
You might be somewhere far, who knows, in another province, or
I know I'll never tan a hide again. I will, but butchering and doing the Euro, I'll probably continue to do that. Yeah. The more times you do it, the better you get and everything. And like I just think I think everybody should at least try it, at least do it. It's just like you said, and then you open up that freezer, when you grab that package, you remember yourself packaging it, and then you share with someone, and then more times or not, I find I share a story. Like if I'm enjoying with him, like, oh yeah, it's my black bear, yeah, boom, 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 and you also visually remember where on the deer it was. Like when I got that black bear, I was like, okay, here's a back strap. Well, was it the left one? Was it the right one? Was it the upper? Was it the back? Like, was it the lower? I honestly have no idea. And I've heard like horror stories of like people getting meat back from butchers that isn't their animal, and that just like freaks me out in a way. So. Or am I getting back the complete amount? Like that's also a whole other thing. That's like I don't like, but so I'm pumped up that you did that yourself, and you did the skull. It's to see. I remember you sent me a photo of the buck hanging in your shed, Canadian flag, and I was like, that's it, man. That's like what we talk about all the time. Buck in the garage, pitch black outside, fire ripping, whatever the case. And it's just like that is what dreams are fucking made of. And it was literally a dream. Like I have had dreams of that whole event. And so super special. What do you think? Like the best? Okay, first off, what was your favorite meal out of that hunt? Backstrap. 100%. I know that's like cliche and stuff, but like fuck it, it is the best cut. Yeah. And it's funny, while we were butchering it, my father-in-law, Bob, I gave him a nice cut of the fresh backstrap, and he cut it up and turned it into tartare. Raw deer backstrap, put it on a cracker. And it was with some lime juice, and it was effing delicious.
Yeah.
Like so cool.
Yeah.
Fucking delicious.
Fucking delicious.
And that, I won't say that's the best meal because the cooked backstrap was better, but it was incredibly cool and rewarding,
unique in a way,
and
different from
and it was like, I am now eating this animal raw.
Yeah.
And it was so good and delicious. But yeah, to answer your question, I'd definitely be backstrap. We saved one. I never froze it. I just butchered the backstraps, and the backstraps were ridiculously large.
Yeah.
And the deer was ridiculously big. And the rest of it I vacuum packed and butcher wrapped and froze, but I kept a nice maybe 12-inch section of backstrap, kept it fresh. We cut like 1.5-inch steaks out of it, and then did the classic salt, pepper, sear, like maybe 15-20 seconds on each side. It was essentially raw on the inside, and it was the best piece of meat I've ever eaten.
Oh my God. Unreal. Have you smoked any of it? Have you tried smoking?
That's a great question. No,
Like
I haven't. I've done a bunch of slow cooker. I've done some crock pot.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of ground meat. You know what? I actually can't remember. I don't think I have. No.
Yeah. No. I'm just interested because like I've never smoked.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
I don't own a smoker, so that's something
Yeah, you should probably get one.
Yeah, it's been years in the making of like 7-8 years of being like I should probably fucking get one. Two. Yeah. No. Anyways, that's it. But I'm interested to hear or like to taste. What smoked is.
Yeah,
it's probably delicious.
Yeah, I'd like to try like jerky or just. I've done like, oh man, we had such a good. I took one of the I'm not good with like the different cuts and stuff, but like the eye of round, or it's like the big nice round piece from the hind quarter.
Yeah, and
I took that and I did a classic like sear it in a crock pot, and then beef stock, onions, garlic, celery, carrots, and then just simmered it and braised it all day.
Yeah.
And then it just fell apart, and we made tacos out of it. And like it was a mix of kind of like a stew and pulled tacos, and we put it in nice corn tortillas, and that was incredibly delicious. That would be something that I would like to try on the smoker next time.
You could let that brew, let the smoke infuse. Yeah. Man, one of my go-tos when I do have it, and I don't, but it's bear meat, is that bear stew. I love bear stew. It's so good.
And we're coming into fall season.
Coming into fall, man. I got a couple of bears kicking around actually, so hopefully you can stick around and shoot it. But if you were to, it's kind of hard to, I think, but if you were to say this was my favorite part about the hunt, what would you say is the
about hunting or about that hunt?
That hunt.
Hunt. I mean, by far, there's two, and I think they're equal. One was the moment we found the first blood tracking, like blood spot. I think that moment was, I've never felt so much like tension in me and then get released the second Bob said, there's a spot right there.
Yeah.
And I saw that blood, and knowing that I had hit it in the very first spot when I took the first shot was like winning the lottery.
Yeah. I did my job.
I did it.
I knew
why did I doubt myself? Like all the emotions, all the thoughts in a millisecond. Yeah. So I'd say that moment. And then the moment where we had then found I found this nice big blood spot, and I was like, oh my God, that's huge. And I kneeled down, and then I just casually looked forward, like ahead into the bush, and I saw the deer there. Yeah. And I'd say that moment was probably the best moment of my life. I don't have kids yet or anything, so I can say.
Oh yeah, even like
I'm not married yet either. That's coming. So this moment, I can say the best moment of my life was literally that moment where I looked up, and there was literally it was a harvest moon,
right?
And it was glowing in the background, and I just saw this deer there, dead, just 10 yards from me. And that was the best moment of the whole hunt.
I think you said it earlier. It was just like, it was a picture perfect day almost in a way, but it was all the emotions, ups, down. Plus you have the beautiful ending story to it. The moonlight, like not even just like you shot something, killed, but like then you got the moonlight. I remember you sent me a photo. There's a dead deer in the field. It's almost like bright out from the moon, and Bob's taking a little nap.
Yeah, we took like a nap. We were so tired dragging that out, and when we finally got to the main trail, I had asked Carter, can you go get like a machine, like an ATV or something? Because we had.
What does Dan have?
What does Dan have?
Go get tractors.
And because we at that point we were dragging the deer probably for an hour, and we were beat, and we just lied down, and it was such a that's actually a good reminder. It was such a magical moment where we had this 9-point buck lying on the main trail. Bob lied down and literally like fell asleep. I lied down and I was just looking up in the sky. The moon had rose up to the top of the sky, and it was the biggest harvest orange moon lighting up. It felt like it was the middle of the day, and I was just lying there with this buck in front of me. My father-in-law, it was silent. You just hear crickets and this beautiful moon. And then, we had about maybe 15 minutes where Carter had left to go get the ATV. Yeah. And that was a magical moment as well. Yeah. Like there were so many. And then eventually we just kind of heard the rumble of Carter coming back with the ATV, and we loaded it up in a sleigh and brought it back.
Nice. Yeah. Dude. Well, it's a perfect story. It's perfect. Like I just wish those moments happen all the time, but it's almost like you don't, because then it makes it less special. So it's like those moments, just like the whole week you went through everything, the years you went through, and it's just like to have that as the outcome of that certain time is just like makes it almost that much more special.
Like no matter what happens, like for the rest of my life in hunting, like there will never be that first moment.
The first moment you place your hands on your dead deer, grabbing the end and just being like, oh.
Yeah, and then in the end, that first shot went through the front shoulder, ripped through the front, its front left lung, and through the entire body. And it took out the guts. It took everything out, and then came out the back, its back right hind quarter. So it was like a 15-degree angle through the entire body. It exploded the inside of the animal. It barely bled. And when we gutted that, when we field dressed it, the cavity of the deer was full. Yeah. All of its blood was just sitting in the cavity. Right. And we had to turn it over, and it drained out, and the guts were everywhere. So it was like, not the best shot. Like I maybe should have, again, more experience. If I touch more patience, maybe it would have turned broadside, but it is what it is. And that first shot killed it. So, and I found the bullet. I don't know if it was the first shot bullet, but I found a bullet inside of it. I think it was the second shot. It had went through one rib section, and then I think it hit another rib and pretty much lodged right into it. And I pulled that out, and I still have that bullet. So, yeah. Dude.
Well, that's special, man. That's like something you're going to definitely remember for the rest of your life. Pass on to people. Tell it's an amazing story. And I'm just glad you did it here. Like that's so cool. You did it
all
in my
thanks to you, man. All thanks
to
using your land.
Unreal. But so, what's your next whitetail goal? Because you just set the bar pretty, like in terms of like holy shit moments. Yeah. What's your next? What do you like? What's your next?
Yeah, admittedly,
do you have like any personal goals, or are you just like, man, I just want, I want whatever, like meat in the freezer.
I think it's meat in the freezer. Yeah. I think I hit the lottery with that to be my first like big game experience. Just the size of the buck, like 9-point. It's a big boy. The whole story. I don't think I'll ever top it, and that's not really what hunting's about either. And I think it's just meat in the freezer. And admittedly, this year I'm getting married. All my focus has been on this wedding. And it's kind of leading right up to hunting season. So my focus isn't even on hunting this year until the wedding's done. And I have booked a week off the second week again.
Second week, baby.
I booked it off from work. And I think this year is just going to be crown and just hitting crown land, and might not be as much of a like push this year, and maybe that is a result of being successful last year and still having meat in the freezer.
Right.
But I think my goal now, man, honestly, in hunting is just mature, like develop my skills. Just again, it goes back to like the guitar, like beginner to intermediate to expert. Like I don't think I'll ever hit expert. That's a goal I'll never hit. So how can I just every year gain a little more experience?
Yeah.
And whether it's one trip out this year or 10, my goal for this year is to just get back out on crown land, explore some new land, and start with bow and go until gun season, and then I'll change to gun again. And that's kind of my strategy at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's it at the moment, to be honest. That's the goal is just get back out.
And that should be, and that is defined as success. And like, it shouldn't always, like with Instagram and all stuff, it's like not, success isn't always the photo with the deer at the end of the day. That's not really that. Yes, it is. And like, that is success, but that was the goal of that year. The goal of that year, shoot a deer. this year might be different, So it's like, it's all defined, and it's your outdoor journey of what you want it to be. So yeah, no, it's cool. It's because like, I shot my spike buck, or I shot my 10-point. Now I have to top that. And it's like,
no, honestly,
why is it always about that?
Honestly, more than anything, I want to go grouse hunting. I just want to shoot a grouse.
Yeah.
And I did that a bunch on Cranland last year. I had a few opportunities and I didn't capitalize on it. And that whole like bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, not even in my mind. Like if I could come out of this year with a grouse or a rabbit, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
So,
dude, well, that's freaking wicked, man. I'm glad that I don't know. I just love it when people like continue with it. They're on their own journey too. Cause like, you can piggyback off somebody, and then to see them like just have their own thoughts and of like, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going to go. It's like,
well, it's the old saying, like you take someone fishing and they can fish for the day. You teach them how to fish, and they're fishing for a lifetime. Forever, and you did that for me. You taught me how to hunt. And now I got a lifetime of hunting stories to come, right? Like,
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So what would be like, I'm just curious, and I think I know the answer. We can maybe even say it on the count of 3, but your dream hunt, what would, I think I know exactly.
Yeah, you probably know it. At the moment, I mean, it would be a moose in Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, yeah.
Like a Newfoundland moose.
That's your
hunt.
roots. Your roots are...
That's where that goes back to the canned jar moose meat.
Yeah.
Like, and if I could take it full circle to go back to like where my dad grew up and was born and raised and lived his life, and all my that side of the family, and get back to the rock and shoot a moose, or even not even harvest, just go on a moose hunt in Newfoundland,
just to go
with some of my family, would be the ultimate hunt for me.
Yeah.
And that's I'm hoping that can happen sooner than later.
Dude.
Yeah.
I like, man, you always hear now, and like now we're going into the season of, like, we're getting into hunting season. Like some people are already going out hunting right now, which is fucking nuts. Like,
really?
Yeah, people in Alaska, there's pronghorn starts pretty early in August.
Wow.
So like that's a season. And then there's elk season, like starts in like a week, 2 weeks or something, like in some places out west. Mule deer as well is really early. And it's like, holy shit, like it's like, for something like bear season starts for fall in Ontario. I think it's the 2nd or the 3rd of September.
Wow.
So that's even like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks away.
Yeah. And that's something I'd like to explore too, is like more like bear hunting and getting into that.
I was going to ask you, when are we going bear hunting? Because we didn't have one experience.
Do we?
Yeah. Okay. We went out.
Oh, spring bear. Yeah. Never doing that again. I'll go fall bear hunting.
This was back 2017. Yeah. I shot my biggest boar, and I think it was the same year. But we went earlier, like a week or 2 weeks before that. I shot this bear. I shot him the last day. We went out like peak bug season. Yeah. The mosquitoes were terrible. We had the thermocells. That didn't do shit. And I was like, no, it's great. We'll be fine. Don't worry. And I look over, and we're sitting there. I look over you. You have a face mask on. I think I took a selfie with you, and your glasses going, and bugs just covered your face. Like, dude, this sucks.
That was the worst hunting experience.
I'm not bear hunting ever.
We actually had a close encounter with a deer that day.
Yeah.
I remember you were like behind you, and I look back, and it's like 5 feet behind me is just a doe, like just sniffing us.
Why can't that happen during gun season or rifle season or gun hunt
season? So I had a bad start to like spring bear, so I'm kind of like jaded on that now. But fall bear, I definitely is something I wanna get into. And you're the bear hunter, so that's a whole new world for me. So
now where I work, with their restaurant opening up, they have a whack load of like grease, like fryer oil. So I saw a bunch, like 6 big jugs, like 20-liter jugs, like outside the kitchen. I was like, what are you guys doing that? Like, oh, we throw it away. I was like, I'm going to take that.
Wow.
So I'm going to take, like, that just helps with like scent, baiting bear. So, and there's been a couple, like, not like massive bears, but I just see them like kind of walking by, where I did bait in the springtime. They were kind of cruising through, messing up some logs, just the scent is still there. So I'm going to start baiting.
And do you still have bear meat like in your freezer?
No, I got 0. Yeah. I'm dry, man. It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
At least a few years since I shot a bear. And there was like, you get that weird point, like you shoot a bear and then you're like, and I think it's just hunting or whatever your journey is, but I was like, I shot a bear And I was around a lot of bears in the years after. I think maybe it was like 21 where I shot it. So yeah, or 22. I can't remember. And then you're like, oh, I see so many bears and I pass them, let them grow. And then you're not successful, or you don't shoot anything, not successful, but you don't shoot anything. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll see some next year, pass on them. And then you're like, oh my God. Okay, now I'm just going to try to I was like, I want to shoot something big because I see a couple of big ones coming by. I want to shoot a bigger one, and then they don't come by, and then the years go on. And you're like, hey, I just want some meat in the freezer. I like organic, good, healthy protein. Like that's my goal. So that should always be the goal, not all about size. So that's something that I've learned with bear hunting too, because it's a little more controlled. And so yeah, this like any now time that I get at something that's not like obviously a freaking small bear, but like something that's decent, I was like, I'm most likely going to shoot it just because, I want some meat in the freezer and eat some good meat. So, I mean, I miss bear meat, man. I freaking love it. Hopefully I get a bear that has lots of fat on it.
Yeah.
Get some bear oil.
Yeah. And in the end, like for me, man, like hunting is really meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I think that's, there's the thrill of it. There's the hunt. There's the adventure. There's the call it a trophy, whatever. Like the memory, there's the memory on the wall.
Yep.
But in the end, like the act of going to a freezer and pulling out that roast or that ground meat or that ribs or whatever it is like the most fulfilling feeling in the world and the whole reason that I got into hunting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like that's the biggest part. And like that's why I want to read this book on like hunting history and see these guys, like you said, that they just went out there with the clothes they had, wool most likely, just going out there to get meat in the freezer. Yep. Holy shit, we saw a big one. That's just a bonus.
Yeah.
But to see something, the intentions of like conservation and shooting something mature is great. That's great to have. That's great to have like in your back of your mind to like, that's what I want to do for the health of the herd and everything. But then also it's like, you have to realize like, I'm doing this so I don't have to get shitty meat or whatever from the grocery store. I like the taste of this. I like the nutrients of it. That's like what I get driven by the most. And that's where like and I'll call it standards if you wish of like size of animal has changed throughout the years. Not because I haven't killed anything, maybe a little bit, but it's just like, I just want meat in the freezer.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And the feeling of like, other people who don't hunt eating that meat is such a cool feeling as well.
Yeah.
And you have people that even if they do or don't hunt, it's like just sharing the fruits of the labor. Like
man.
You put all those hours in and it's not just for, it is mainly for the time, but in the end, when you have that reward and that payout of meat and life and sustainability and like,
it's cool. Being a provider
and tapping into those roots is like the most fulfilling thing that I've done for sure.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And now, we're on August 15th. So we're coming into that season again where we're going to be in the woods and God damn, I can't wait.
That's the best time of year.
And it's hot as fuck here in Ontario. Like,
I don't know what's that going to do to the deer.
Well, dude, the food plot that I had, like I went out, finally tilled it, whatever, got it prepared half-assed because of time and weather's been shit, whatever. And I seeded it. I actually had like a little hand seeder and just spread it all out. And then it was supposed to rain in like a day. And I was like, perfect timing, because you need a lot of rain. It's been super dry. Didn't rain for 2 days. Like, and it always said it was 80% chance, 15 mils of rain. And it just and even now, like it barely rained. I think it was Tuesday night. I was like, Tuesday finally it's going to rain. And I've planted these seeds now for a week. They've been scorching out there. They're probably dead. Yeah. I walked out with Bethany, my wife, the other day, yesterday, just to set up some more cameras, and it's just like cloud dust. Like it's so dry. I didn't see a single seed that sprouted, and I'm like, I don't think these.
Well, pretty much in a drought.
Yeah, like I don't think
full fire ban and everything.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, I haven't experienced this hot and dry of a summer since I've lived up this way.
No, it's like pretty scary too. Just like how dry it is and how many days it's been.
And what's that going to do to like the hunting and the population? And are they going to move to wetter areas? Are they going to stay? I don't know.
It changes
not
up
knowledgeable enough to know
like hunting situations. Like I wanted to make a little bit more of a watering hole, and that would probably be killer right now.
Yep, I would.
So
getting the water in it would
getting in the water in it and all this shit. Yeah. So it's a never-ending battle of that. But yeah, that does change like hunting season, the early season, and it's like, do you even bother? Like, depending on how September goes around, like, fuck, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what to do. But it's definitely a weird, odd year with the heat. I hate the fucking heat, so I'm looking forward to some frosty, like a nice frosty sun just peeking up, like cool. You fucking open the coffee, see the steam. Yeah.
Oh man,
looking forward to those moments, man.
They're coming,
man. Yeah. And definitely, we're gonna have a few. I think we have a potential hunting trip to plan.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I botched a little bit, fucked up a little bit there. My bad. It's all good. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna do something cool because it's all about, like we said, like that new experience of going into like unknown territory, just trying something green in a way to like put yourself out there, like Crown Land, like going from backyard to Crown Land to some sort of cool canoe trip, and just getting out there. And like, I'm probably gonna buy, like I mentioned to you, a rifle this year, which I mainly like and like want to bring my bow, but I think I definitely like the idea more of meat in the freezer. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking rifle hunt, man. I'm gonna bring the rifle. I'm gonna shoot something. If something comes by during rifle season, I'm gonna shoot it because that's the goal. That's the objective.
And that was like a curve for me as well. Was like, I've always been from day one a bow hunter and shooting bow, practicing, and never thought I'd hunt with a gun, to be honest, until about 2 years ago. When my father-in-law Bob started coming hunting with me more, and I was taking him hunting, and he's a gun hunter, and it really just, my perspective changed to like, hey, I'll bow hunt during bow season, and during those 2 weeks I'll gun hunt. And whatever I can do to increase my chances of meat in the freezer has become my goal. And maybe down the road that will change. Maybe down the road I will just be a bow hunter for the sake of bow hunting, and I won't be so focused on that meat in the freezer. Maybe I will, and maybe I'll always stick to that bow then gun then bow again mentality. But at the moment, my whole hunting world revolves just around putting ethically killed meat in the freezer. And whatever tool I use to do that, I'm okay changing at the moment.
Donnie Vincent had a podcast, Mark. God, what's his name? The hell's his name? He's a Wired to Hunt guy, Mark Kenyon. He's part of Meat Eater, Wired to Hunt, talks about whitetails only. He had Donnie Vincent on his podcast, which everyone loves Donnie Vincent. He's a freaking legend. And he's just talking about like being an old school hunter, but that's him obviously going through his whole life of years of trying out camo, trying out the best rifles, the best bows, and then he just wants to simplify it in a way because that's just what he wants to do. And like, I think that's just like everyone's own journey is like, it's just what you want to do, what's better from your experience, from what you've had, the memories you've had, and then going towards something that's like, this is, I just feel like I said to you earlier, it's like, I'm not going to use trail cams this year just because I want this out of my hunting situation. I just want to drop the compound bow. I'm going to pick up a recurve because I just want to be more whatever the case is. And it's like everyone's on their own little journey, which is cool.
I agree.
But I'm excited to see how this year plays out. We're gonna wrap this baby up.
All right.
But I just want to thank you, man, for coming on the first ever podcast here.
First Outdoor Dan podcast.
Yeah. And man, I'm excited to see how your hunting journey throughout the years this year unfolds. And excited to see what kind of happens here. But thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I everything I know and about hunting, and I owe everything in the hunting world to you, and I'm forever grateful for that. So,
well, thanks, buddy. And it's always a sharing. It's a give and take, ebb and flow. But
thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, guys. All right, thank you very much for listening in, for tuning in.
OutdoorDan.com.
OutdoorDan.com. Check it out. Buy my merch. Bye, everybody.
See ya. I can picture the Joe Rogan.